Hey guys, you're here with Credit Connector. Remember, this channel is about you guys. I'm here to empower you guys. I'm here to show you how to read your credit, understand your credit, fix your credit, and go out there and leverage that credit on the personal side and on the business side. I'm still dropping my VIP mentorship that you guys can still get in for free. Also, if you guys want to fix your own credit, I got the template. If you want data points on a certain bank, I have the template. If you want to know certain data points on credit unions, I have the template. If you want to make some money with bank bonuses, I have the template. Get in there because right now it's for free and I am going to start closing it pretty soon. Now in November, we are going to start going live, and I think my first class is going to be a master class in Chase Bank. After that, I'm going to start going with personal credit, business credit, and so on and so on. Today, what we're going to be talking about is what is the best way that you guys can increase your credit. Remember, guys, don't let the vultures take advantage of you guys. You guys can fix your credit. Try to do everything you can first, and then if you can, then you can go and hire a credit company, a credit repair company that you guys have done your research. I know there's some out there that are reliable and they really do do what they say. There's other ones that can get you in trouble and they're just going to steal your money, guys. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is try to do it yourself. Try to pay off your credit cards, and then if you can't, then you can go ahead and then at that point you can hire somebody. The first thing I'm going to tell you is when you're trying to fix your credit, there's two things that I'm going to tell you that are probably the main thing on your credit. If you just handle those two, I'm going to tell you that your credit is probably going to be tier 1. Okay, the first thing I'm going to tell you is payments, late payments, guys. You never want to have a late payment in your credit. This is really important. Before, the credit cards and the banks and all that, they were worried about the last 24 months, but I can tell you 2024 banks are checking and they're going above that. They're checking in the last 48 months. Some of them are checking the last 7 years. So I've had people that I've tried to help for a credit card, and maybe a year ago I was getting them approved with maybe a late payment 2 years ago, 25 months ago, 26 months ago, 27 months ago, but today it's not happening. So the first thing you need to take care is your late payments. If you have a late payment, then there's nothing you can do. Try to, if it's a credit card late payment, try to pay on time. Basically, another credit card or that credit card at least a whole year. And it's not that it disappears, but it kind of cancels it out. It looks better on your credit profile. If you've never had a late payment, late payments give you 192 points. Imagine 192 points. So late payments are number 1. Focus on your late payments. Number 2, credit utilization. These are two things that you can take care of without having to hire a credit repair company. Okay, credit utilization. Credit utilization, if you're under all the time, under 8 or 9%, that's going to give you 165 points. Okay, that goes towards your credit. So imagine you got 192 points here and 165 points here. So credit utilization, you want to be at that sweet spot. Forget about 30%. That was years ago. I mean, if you're under 30% or 30%, you're probably safe, but you might not get a $20,000 credit card. You might not get a $30,000 credit card. You might still get a $5,000 credit card. On average, you want to be sweet spot, and this is to achieve, we're trying to achieve 8 or 850 credit score. You want to try to be always under 8 or 9% credit utilization at all times. This is really important. Also, when you're paying your credit card, remember, you want to pay it not by the due date. You always want to pay your credit card by the statement date. Okay, credit cards normally have, I think it's 3 to 7 days for them to report this payment. After they report this payment, if you use the card again, you want to make sure the next month you do pay it off again by the statement date. Okay, And you always want to try not to pay the minimum payment. If you're paying the minimum payment by the due date, trust me, you're paying a lot of interest if you don't have an interest-free card, and you're never going to bring that utilization down. So if you can only get a card and pay the minimum, try then to stay away from credit cards at this point, because it's really going to hurt you. The only time I can tell you to do this, if you're in a jam, you lost your job, somebody's sick, and you have to use your credit card, well, there's not another choice, then go ahead and use it, okay? The other thing I want to talk about is credit age. Credit age, if you could have a good credit age, it's going to give you 82 points, which, imagine, calculate all that, okay? Credit age. Remember, the two first ones are the most important, guys. Those are the two most important. If you control those two, trust me, you'll have a good credit score and a good credit profile, which is more important. It's not about the score, it's about the profile, okay? Always remember that. It's not about the score, it's about the profile. Also, credit mix. Credit mix is another one that sometimes falls with the credit age in that area. With increase, okay? Increase, that depends how much increase you have. That is 55 points. If you calculate all that, you'll probably be near like 500 points, something in that area. Anytime you have credit, the least amount of credit that you can have, if you have bad credit, you have 300. That will be your score. If you calculate all this that I just told you, you'll be close to 850, guys. So remember, if you have a 300 credit score and you focus on payment and credit utilization, that's going to help you bring up your credit score. It's very important, guys. Okay? Remember, banks used to, before, just care about the last 24 months. A lot of credit cards now worry about the last 48 months. And some of them are still looking up to those 7 years. So it's really important. You always want to make sure that whenever you're using your credit, if you're ready to go in for funding, you want to make sure 60 days, sometimes 90 days before, you have all this in check. Because right now, when you're applying for new credit, they're checking to see what you were doing 2 months ago, what you were doing 3 months ago. Okay, right now we have the FICO 8, FICO 9. FICO 8 is still the one that a lot of the credit cards use. But once we have the FICO 10 trending, that means that it's not just little pictures of your credit. That means that they can see your whole credit profile like in a video. Okay, it's a movie. So if you're applying for a house and they're using, the FICO 10 trending, what do you think is going to happen when they saw 6 months ago your credit was all over the place, or a year ago? You're not going to look fundable, and banks are getting very strict. So you want to make sure that you have everything on point, especially if you're thinking about buying a car, a house, a mortgage, especially a mortgage, because they're very strict. And even if you're going for personal credit cards, credit line increase, then you want to jump to your business credit. You want to make sure to have everything on point, okay? A lot of people focus on the score, and then they're like, oh, but I didn't get approved. Yeah, you have a good score, but you've only had a credit for a year. So always think of that. It's not about the score. It's about the whole profile, guys, okay? If you have anything in your credit that you want to clean out, if your names across the board are not matching, your address, guys, join my free mentorship. I got all the templates there. And also, guys, remember, if you have any friends or your relatives that don't speak English, send them to my Spanish channel, which is called Conecto de Crédito. I'm willing there to help them. And if I don't know the answer, I research it. There's people that, they probably know a little bit more than me. But I'm always going to give you the best answer, and I'm always here for you guys. Until next time, with Jackie, with Credit Connector. Bye-bye.